and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome two of the best in the business. One lives in the land of cheese, and the other in the land of 10,000 lakes. This is the Northern Border Banter Podcast with your hosts, Trent McKenzie and Brant Bender.
Here we go.
I think it's just music now, so we're live.
All right, here we go.
All right. Wednesday night, August 7th. Special episode. I don't know what. It's kind of
yeah. Number one fan.
Our number one fan unfortunately passed away this last Saturday.
Yeah.
So Bob Marcks, our grandpa. Yep. We got special guests here. Trent McKenzie gave the okay on this, so that's important, I guess.
Yeah, dude.
But we got Garrett Bender, my brother.
Hello.
Joe Grenzel.
Yes. Damn it.
He's kind of meant for this.
I should have thought of that. Damn.
But yeah, I guess we just want to do this special kind of dedication to our grandpa, because he was probably like sports was his life almost, like
Yeah,
his
absolutely.
biggest hobby for sure. I would say.
Well, that and
that's what we got here.
Yeah. Cheers,
fellas. Here's the Grandpa Bob.
Grandpa Bob for sure.
What do you got?
We got a live
boys?
Studio audience here too.
Yeah.
This is good. Yeah.
What are you drinking, Joe?
I got the Udder Tugger.
Yeah.
Cream ale.
I'm guessing that was made in Wisconsin.
It's got to be.
Yeah,
Holy cow. Utterly amazing cream ale. You know what? I'm going to give it another shot.
What do you rank that? Out of 10, right?
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
Ooh. Not usually much for the cream ales, but, it's tickling my fancy at about 6.9.
So, pro score there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I like it.
I got
you got, Brant?
Eastside Dark Lager, Lakefront Brewery, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee.
Another Wisconsin brew.
Yeah. Kingwankin for the Great Land.
Yeah, I know they are. That's what they're known for here, for sure.
Yeah.
Cheese and beer.
and tugging udders.
Definitely.
Yes.
So,
what do you got there, Garrett?
I have the
psychedelic
Mobcraft Amber.
Ooh.
That is also a member of Wisconsin Brewers Guild.
Oh, how does that work? Do you know about that?
It is a guild of Wisconsin brewers, or brewers in Wisconsin, I should say.
Genius. Yes. Yeah, it's good.
Well,
it's really good.
What are you at? What are you at for rating?
So a dark lager. I don't know what is a dark lager.
I feel like it's not light.
The opposite of light. Opposite of a light lager. It tastes chocolatey, to be honest.
Ooh, I probably would like that more than this cream ale.
Yeah,
but,
So good ranking.
7.8. I really like this.
Ooh.
This one's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's tasty.
Do you know the highest?
5.6%.
That's solid.
The highest is Mick Ultra.
That's the highest ranked.
9.2.
All right. Yeah.
For me.
Where you at with the amber, Garrett?
This is really good, actually. I'm gonna give it like 7.9.
Mm.
This is good. It's like It's like amber, but it's got a little like stouty, like it's a little heavier than like a fat tire.
You're a fat tire kind of guy though.
Yeah,
you're
amber is my favorite
okay.
kind of beer. So this is
Joe, you're a Busch Light type guy.
I'm a simple man.
Yeah.
But I also like stouts. If I'm gonna drink a craft beer, I'm gonna go to a stout. So, but I don't mind a cream ale every now and again.
What was Grandpa? He was a big Miller
Light.
Yeah,
Miller Light was his go-to. Yengling. He liked.
You like that?
Oh,
really?
Yeah. But only one. He could only do one, and then he had to,
They are strong.
he had to get off of it. But when Mom and Dad went down south, they'd always get him a case of Yengling, and that's what he would have. Yeah. And an occasional, he'd have a Bloody Mary. But he'd tell my mom every time, just make it a light one for me. Make it a light one for me.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so back to Grandpa Bob, the man, the myth, the legend. The reason that we are here, we started talking about his sports career and what it was to him, and I was telling these guys earlier about how Grandpa Bob became a Cubs fan at a young age. Oh, he became a baseball fan in elementary school where he played. Played ball, as you always call it. Played some ball.
Baseball is number one sport.
By far. But he played that with a group of guys. It kind of all through high school. They all went off their separate ways, but they came back together. At one point, he said I think it was right around 50 years he played ball with the same group of guys.
That's awesome.
And maybe one or two left off and gained a couple more here and there. But they played baseball in high school. Then they played like softball and some slow pitch stuff and like BA stuff.
I know he played fast pitch too. Yeah.
Yep.
Using that because I always thought because he'd always talk to me about beer league. That's what I played. But then he also played fast pitch, though. And it was kind of because I always thought he was talking about slow pitch, just like beer league, and then I learned that actually, but he did play slow pitch too, some. But I think his big thing was, I don't know for a fact, obviously, but he's big into the fast pitch.
Yep.
Dang, that's cool. I didn't know that.
He also he was in the Air Force and he played ball in the Air Force. One cool story that he told me was they had like an expedition game, and I don't know if it was just Air Force, a group of Air Force guys that played in it, but they played some like AAA team, and it was supposed to just be like, kind of a cool game. Well, the Air Force team came in and like played their hearts out, right? And the AAA team kind of just threw out their, any pitcher that they had left, and then they won.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
And they're like, the AAA team was pissed, so they like, we need a rematch. We're gonna do it in our stadium, and they're like, it was a big deal, and people were like, he said, Graham, this is Grandpa's story, but newscasters came in and were like shooting out the story, like, because it was a big deal. And I was like, so did you win, Grandpa? He's like, oh, on to the next story. Let me tell you something else. So yeah.
I think one of the coolest stories is how he became a Cubs fan. You were talking about that a little bit last night.
Yeah. So Grandpa, I will call it an addiction because for the amount of time that he spent being a Cubs fan and the winning record of the Cubs, it had to be an addiction because, but how it started is he would go to the, oftentimes to like the library or some of the bars around where he could get his hands on some newspapers. And typically the newspaper that he could get would be the Chicago Tribune, right? And that was what was left. That wasn't all tore up. And he would get the sports section and he would literally look at the box scores, which for those of you who don't know, the box scores are
Wow.
And then you think about after that, started to watch him or listen to him probably on the radio.
Yeah,
a little bit here and there.
I heard a story about the radio. It was the only channel they got to, as far as baseball. Because I don't think the Brewers. I think it was the Milwaukee Braves at the time.
It would have been the Milwaukee Braves.
And then, but he didn't get that. He got the Cubs.
Yep. The channel that would work on his radio that he had.
That's cool. How old was he when he started doing that?
This is like elementary, middle school age. So he was playing ball, and he kind of formulated. He knew the game. He knew about how it worked, and he could. He was always great with numbers, so he could materialize that box score into the. To the day he died, he loved reading box scores out of the newspaper. Like he would always go to the sports section. I don't even know that they still print box scores in there, but he somehow would find them and go through them. So, and then think about going through his life and then seeing that to the different stages, seeing it on black and white TV.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. When the first time he was at a game, he probably was in his 40s, and like a major league baseball game. When the first time he probably seen the Cubs was 40 or 50 years old, and all that lifetime, that 40 years of just materializing, watching it, listening on the radio, putting that all together. It's crazy to think of. It's also crazy to think of, back to his addiction, is he got to see them win the World Series, right? I mean, I watched one of the games. I think it was game 3 of that World Series with him, and he watched the game so differently. He would watch the pitch count. He would look at the things that they were doing and how their manager was putting in the players. And he was a coach, he knew a lot of the background behind it. So it was also fun and maybe kind of annoying to watch the game because you do too much about it. And I think that's when I look at you and I listen to your podcast a lot, I think about that aspect of what Grandpa kind of shed on you and shared with you, and how you look at a game probably differently than the average person watching it.
Yeah, no, I remember one of my biggest memories with Grandpa was going to a Twins game at the Metrodome with Grandpa, and we sat behind the Cubs dugout. I think maybe it was the Twins dugout. I think it was opposite back then. The Metrodome was weird.
Sure.
But that was awesome. But he's definitely, I don't know. He's somebody that I always looked up to and wanted to be exactly like, as far as how and it was a lot of how he did watch sports, how he cheered for it. I picked up on all that stuff as a kid, and it's this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get angry this time. You're supposed to that kind of stuff. So that was definitely one.
And I mean, being a Viking fan, he probably taught you how to cheer for, the team that was losing. Yeah. Sometimes, every once in a while.
Yeah. He did that his whole life.
He had to.
Oh.
And he was good at it. Yeah, he was good at embracing the suck of the Cubs. But man, when they won, that was a big deal for him. It meant a lot to him, and I think about how many years was he a Cubs fan, and suffered through some bad times and probably some pretty good times too, where they just maybe lost in the playoffs and didn't make it through. But yeah, to see that all come together and World Series. I mean, what does that mean to you?
What was it?
He had a sticker on the back of his van after that mom got him that said, "I was a Cubs fan before it was cool."
Yeah, dude, that's it. Yeah. Like 60 years.
Right?
Yeah, hoping and praying. Golly. Because that was like 2018, 2017?
16, I think it was.
16 it was when they won it.
Golly.
So the 2 times before we looked up that he wasn't alive for, it was 1906 and 1908 or something.
Yeah. A lot of years of enduring.
That's crazy.
Enduring it. So
that's cool.
Probably kept him alive.
Yeah, he's just holding on.
I got to see at least one.
Heck yeah. I could definitely resonate with the sports, always about sports. I was definitely like, I played the sports, I couldn't talk the sports. And I always felt bad, man.
Yeah.
When I'd sit down with them and like, how you doing, Grandpa? He'd just, yeah, the Timberwolves are looking good, the Twins are looking good. And I was just like, I wish I could hold this conversation. It was never bad. It was
he always knew so much.
Yeah,
when
dude.
it came to sports.
Yeah, so much.
Every player's name.
Yep.
Always, everybody, entire league.
Yeah, man.
Always had an opinion on.
So when we were going through the picture board and like putting it all together, there's a bunch of pictures of him with like Green Bay Packer players and all these different things, and we're all looking at him like, who the heck is that guy? And I guarantee Grandpa's mad because he's like, oh, you don't know who that. And he could give me every stat on that guy's line. You know, he could tell me everything about him, where he was born, what college he went to, high school he played at.
Yeah, man.
You know, he was just that wealth of knowledge of players and who they were and what they did. So,
yeah, man, special, very special.
Absolutely,
Yeah, he was a great man for sure.
Great.
Not just sport. I mean, there's plenty more than sports.
Yeah, that's definitely his biggest passion.
I think we could probably
sports,
have a 20-hour podcast on just Grandpa. More than that, that's kind of cutting it short. But,
yeah. So I think one of the questions that I have for you, Garrett, is like you just said, you were the player, right? You were the person on the field. So, well, we were talking about this earlier. Like Grandpa would drive the 4 hours to come to Minnesota to watch you play. Like, was he the coach? Would he, when you got done, would he be like, wow, you ran that play, you need to hit the center a little bit better, did he coach you, or was he just the super fan that was just like, where was he at?
Yeah, great question. But he was always just a fan, man. Like I think he was so happy. Like I can just picture, there's a picture of him, I think it was my junior year in high school, where he was with all the ladies, like grandma and my mom, and he was like 5 feet away from them, just sitting, and it was like a cold night. He's got his hat on, he's got his jacket on, and he's just sitting, and he just has the biggest smile on his face. Like, I think he was just so supportive always, man. Yeah. Like definitely one of the biggest motivations, like besides my dad, of just like wanting to pursue athletics and sports, and it was always a big deal when they were there, and I think I always had a decent game when they were there. Yeah. I remember, I don't know, dude. They were probably there. They were there watching me play like center in like parkboard and like still cheering, man. But
they did go. They were at the state championship, the rugby.
Yeah. Yep.
That was cool.
Yep. That was special.
That was definitely.
Grandpa had no clue what was going on. Nope.
He was happy though.
He still had his Rugby for Idiots book in his apartment. Yep. Thumb through it every once in a while. Sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, like that's never caught like you need to do this better. You need, like he never really tried to give me advice. Like just like very supportive, always very supportive. Yeah. Always, it's just probably one of the most positive people I've ever been around, honestly. Like and I said that earlier, like 32 years I've been alive, and I don't think I recall him ever losing his temper, or raising his voice at me or anyone.
Remember when we were on the houseboat and the bats flying all over? Yeah, and we were just talking about that the other night, and we were like, everyone was freaking out. we're running around with nets and tennis rackets, and we're like, "Where's the bat?" And Grandpa's like, "It's on my knee, right here, right here. It's on my knee." Calm as a cucumber, like this. Yep, it's on my knee. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, great example. That's a great example. Like everyone was freaking out. You know, we were on a houseboat, so summer vacation we would usually do like a week somewhere, and 1 week one summer we decided to take a
houseboat
up the Mississippi, and yeah, it was a heck of an adventure, and that was on the way home too. So we were all tired and like
everybody's sick of being around each other in this tiny houseboat.
This bat flies in and everyone's freaking out. You guys grab like nets and gloves and stuff, and like everyone's like panicking, and then it's like, where did it go? And
on my knee.
Yeah, beer in the hand.
Yep.
That was funny. A lot of those pictures is like you just sitting there with the beer in his hand.
Oh, dude. How about how long Grandpa could make the last beer last?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I remember that so vividly. Like visiting with Grandma and Grandpa, and like Grandma particularly getting upset and just like she pointed it out to me. I'm pretty sure, like just like watch how long it takes him to finish that beer. And he's just shooting the shit with whoever he is, and it's like this much beer, like just like whatever quarter of a cup, and he'll just. Yeah, I'll take a sip, and it's just nothing. Like, I'll be there for like an extra hour, just waiting for him to finish because I think his thing was like last beer. Oh man,
never wanted to leave the party. No, he was the life of it. So, do you know why he drank beer out of a cup?
No, never knew
Anybody?
that.
No,
yeah, which
like
he always did.
Solo cup.
Yeah, he always needed a cup, like wherever you go. Because if you drank it out of a can, it made him gassy. Well, I'm going to tell you, Grandpa, the cup didn't help. You want to give your advice, Garrett?
What?
What did you just say upstairs? What were we talking about?
Oh yeah. Something we were talking about things that remind us of our grandpa, and the most random thing, for sure, every time though, is. Farting when you pee. I don't think it was him that told me that. I'm pretty sure it was my mom that told me that. But she got that information from somewhere. Yep. And absolutely, I picked that trait up. So every time I take a pee, I think of my grandpa, which is a weird thing to say. Well, yeah, man. That's how you spell relief, you know? Just pass a little gas. What are you letting go? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did he so he went into the Air Force, right?
Yep.
Then,
so he did right out of high school. He went, he was probably 18 years old, maybe even 17 and a half, went into the Air Force. And then he, it was right during the Korea War, and he became a crypto writer. So, which the cool part about Grandpa, when you get into the military talk with him, which I did it every once in a while with him, he had top clearance for a lot of things, and like he was into some parts of the war that he took to the grave with him for sure. But he was always a very honorable person when it came to that. And I mean, how many years ago was that they don't use crypto anymore. They don't use this. But if you would ask him to tell you his secrets, and even family, he would not have done that. And the other thing that I think was always cool is up to the end. If you ever seen him with a flag, when a flag went by in a parade, or if you were at a sporting event or the national anthem, he would always stand at attention. Which you guys may have seen it, you may have not, but like feet were a certain width apart, heels together, chest out, arms up, and if he saluted, oftentimes like the color guard would go through in the parade, he'd stand up and he'd salute, and like guy could barely stand at sometimes of it, and it was like 3, 2, 1, the 3 things that he needed to do in his military training, it came right through, and you always seen it. So
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah. And he was big into the Packers, of course.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when they won the Super Bowl at all? I remember I think I was back when the Badgers football team was in like in that Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they won that a couple
Probably
times.
Ron Dane era.
Yeah, even before that, I think too.
Yeah.
But do you remember how he was when they won a Super Bowl? Or were you guys around him a little bit for any of that? Or I mean, he got to see a lot of, because the Packers won a lot of Super Bowls, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's fair.
He always loved his sports. Like I said earlier, though, I mean, it was weird. It was different to watch sports with him because you were watching the same game, but you were not interpreting the same game as he was. He'd watch the plays. I always remember, I'll never forget, he'd tell Grandma, because she'd get so mad, they'd run like the dive play right up the middle, and she'd be like, why the hell did they run that play? They ain't getting yards out of that. And he'd say, Joyce, every play is made to score a touchdown. That was his line. That was what he needed to say. And so to this day, like, we still throw that, and we got to throw that line out. Every play is designed to score a touchdown. And that's where he was. Like, he understood and knew the concepts behind how it was going to work.
Yeah.
We went down for the parade when we won in New Orleans, and they had the big. I don't remember what Super Bowl it was, but they had the big parade. They came back to Green Bay, and like you could go there. So I got to get out of school for that day.
Nice.
And then the buses came down. They took all the coach buses and they took the windows out, and then you could like run up and high five some of the players and stuff like that. So we did that with Grandma and Grandpa, and I think my mom took me and my sister down there and got to experience that. We got one of his hats from there. It's just a cool hat to have, and we hung it up on one of his picture boards tonight. And it's like, yeah, that hat, it's got some sweat stains on it because apparently he was probably nervous about another game, but it's just a cool kind of momentum to have for him.
Yeah, that is. I'm jealous of him. I'm hoping he kind of like puts in a good word up there now for Vikings fans.
I will tell you this, Brant. If they were not playing the Packers, Grandpa was a Vikings fan because of you. He just wanted you to experience what he's got to experience. I think is ultimately what it was. Is he knew that experience. He knew what it meant, and he knows what it meant to. I mean, remember Cubs? How many years?
Oh,
you got to endure a little bit more.
I can't complain. Really.
That's fair.
So I got a fun question that we got to ask the Olympian, now that we have the Olympics going on right now. So there's a video that we wrangled up for the funeral.
Nice. Yes.
I think you know what video I'm talking about.
Yeah. Is that the one you guys sent us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sent that to us so you could relive it, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. So it was in camp. It was in camp leading up to the Olympics. So none of us had gotten picked yet. It was just like a random day. I don't remember what day it was, but it was just like a random. They didn't tell us anything. And they brought us into the meeting room before practice, which was weird. Like you kind of like get your stuff on, get your cleats on, and then they were like, come into the shed and watch this. And they put up this film, and man, it was like the most tear jerking thing. So this is a rugby team and a bunch of grown men just breaking down in tears. So it was. Our massage therapist at the time, she was also like did a bunch of photography work and stuff, and she like reached out to our families separately, without us knowing, and like asked them to create videos for us of kind of just motivating us and just giving us support to go to the Olympics. And I can honestly say, after watching all of them, that ours was the best one. Our family was the best one. And I don't think anyone would disagree with that if they remember if anyone sees this and they remember that video. Because, yeah, it was special. It was special. So you're going through it, other people are crying, and you're kind of just like wondering, like, if you're going to be up, if they're going, and then, of course, I see the front of, Aunt and Uncle Jody on my aunt and uncle's house, see the front of Aunt and Uncle's house, and they open the door and they're standing there with these beautiful signs, and I don't remember exactly what the signs say, but they're all motivational, and then they walk through the house, so there's like another sign, and they walk through the house, and there's another sign, and then they cut to my brother, and then my mom and her fiance, and my dad and his girlfriend, and just like all of it is just holding signs and just like good luck, like way to go, like all these things, and I'm balling at this time. Like as soon as it goes, man, like it was a hard camp, man. Like 6 weeks of just full on rugby. Everyone's going all out trying to make the team. First time we've done that too, so it was just all a new experience for all of us, and just very intense time. And it came like towards the end of camp too, so we were all like very exhausted mentally, physically, like, and just it just like pulled us all back in. And then so I'm like crying and it cuts to the end, the last scene, and Joe comes running out, and he's got a big U. He's shirtless and got the big U on his stomach. And then your dad comes out and also got the big US.
Man, he just
Everyone, yeah. Got the big S on the chest. And I was like, who's going to be the A? And then Grandpa, I don't think I've seen him shirtless ever. He comes out with the big A. And he goes, eh. And then little Charlie, too. I just watched it.
He climbs up on the stool.
Yeah, little Charlie comes out, jumps up on the stool. He's got a big exclamation point, man. Everyone just died laughing, man. Like, everyone was, it was, dude, I really think you guys nailed it, dude. Yeah, it was super special, man. Like I didn't feel deserving, like of that kind of support, and it was really special. I felt like very grateful to have a family that would go above and beyond. Like it hit, man. Like it hit at the right time too. Like we were all kind of like drained and lagging, and I think that's probably why they timed it the way they did.
So I think you need to understand one thing about that. Somebody has to paint the A.
Dude, I didn't even think about that.
So shout out to my wife.
All right. Yeah.
Nicole.
Nicole.
For
all
painting
right.
the A.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's amazing. I did not even think about that. Wow, dude. Yeah.
I don't remember how that conversation came up, but I had the idea of so in Green Bay it's always a big thing, like they spell out Packers and they're shirtless and it's like 20 below, and there's always going to be that one guy that's not going to be wearing a shirt, or the 6 guys that need to spell out Packers. 6 words.
P-A-C.
I think 7.
I don't
like
know.
7 or 8.
You're asking me? We got it.
But so that was always the kind of the thought, and I was like, well, what do you think about this? And I sold it to my parents, and my dad was like, yeah, I think, whatever, I'll do it. And all right, now we got to sell it to Grandpa. And it was not even a question. He was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Sweet.
It's fine. Shirtless? Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
So
That's really cool.
I just wanted to get your honest, and I like to hear that story, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how many millions of people maybe seen this video? We don't even know.
No, man. It was pretty tight knit. It was a tight knit kind of close, like special. Because it was, like some guys had kids and wives and things that made videos, and It was really special. It was like a really unexpected thing that Sarah saw went above and beyond
Yeah. Yep.
to do. And that, yeah, man, it came at a great time. It was weird because we like went from that to like I think we had a contact session. So like we were doing tackling. So it was like all of us crying and like getting super emotional, and then we gotta go hit each other. That wasn't the best timing probably, but
So
it was special.
So after Grandpa's funeral tomorrow, we're gonna go have a tackling session.
Yeah, let's do it. Pulls you out of it. Yep.
So speaking of tackling sessions, we got to talk some WWF.
Yeah, all right.
Oh my, yes.
Do you think Grandpa liked WWF for the action of the wrestling or the drama of the
Drama, 100%.
For
The
sure.
story.
Oh my God! It was like a soap opera.
It was
Grandma
great.
watched her soap operas.
Like, you knew this.
Grandpa watched his wrestling.
It's the best.
God,
It's so ridiculous. Like that's exactly. I could just see him just because I laugh at the same things. It's entertaining. I love it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
great.
It's-
I don't
it's
care.
hilarious.
People can make fun of it and whatever, but you don't understand how like he loved that for sure.
He did.
It was just great. Like it's his kind of sense of humor too.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like,
perfect.
Just cliche,
Over the
like,
top.
just-
Over the top. Like, you're gonna do this. No, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, dude.
We could have went to Woodman's today in Appleton and got Hulk Hogan's signature.
Really?
He was at
Yeah.
Woodman's in Appleton.
Dang.
Brant said we couldn't.
Oh,
He made
Dude.
it clear that
I'm a Hulkamaniac. I was a Hulkamaniac.
I would have
Oh,
said.
yeah.
I said though.
Hogan's my
So
favorite.
he wouldn't sign any memorabilia. He just signed his the beer that he was selling. 'Cause
Really?
Hulk Hogan came out with a beer. Did you guys know this? We need
No.
to test. We need to get you.
Oh, yeah,
sure,
get
yeah.
some on the podcast.
All right.
Maybe you can be a sponsor.
Maybe I'll,
There
yeah.
you go. Give him a little boost, man.
I don't
That
know.
needs some help. I haven't heard of it.
The other
Undertuggers.
Yeah, the other tuggers, I don't know if you can
That's
compete with
pretty
it.
good marketing.
But I said, if I'm gonna have Hulk Hogan sign my 12 pack of beer, he's got to tear it open first and then
Yeah.
sign the inside.
That would be awesome.
So back to wrestling, though. Remember the times of rolling around on the ground in the living room, just wrestling Grandpa, and he was like, I don't know how he did it because the man had a knee done.
Yep.
And he probably needed both of them done at some point. Remember at the end? Like, we probably should have felt bad for him, but we just took him
We were
down.
kids, man. Yeah.
We had He was the reigning heavyweight champion. We had to take him down.
Yeah, man. Golly, that's special.
And he was the referee, too. So he hit the carpet, hold your hand up, make sure you're done. He's gonna come back. Is he gonna come back? No, he's done out for the count.
That was special.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was special too. You guys remember the basement?
Oh yeah,
Setting up the trampoline.
Oh, yeah.
and all that? Yeah, dude.
the trick catches.
Yeah.
Remember the laundry chute?
Yeah.
So Grandma and Grandpa had a 2-story house. Well, it's kind of like a bi-level, weird
Split level.
layout,
Yeah,
split
right,
level.
kinda.
And Grandma always had all the blankets up in the closet in
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
yep.
spare bedroom.
Yep.
And we would take through I was probably like
Yeah.
10 by 8 laundry chute.
Back then, it was huge.
Yeah.
And we would
That whole
slide
room's
all
probably-
the blankets down and pillows down through that laundry chute into the basement and pile up this whole pile. Pillows and cushions from the couch.
Yep.
And then we would set up the most epic trick play catches
Yeah.
off of the trampoline. You'd have to run in
Yeah.
from the laundry
Yeah.
room,
Yep.
past the bar, on the trampoline, through the doorway. Don't hit the record player because that thing is going to
Yeah.
leave you some marks. And it was a record player / 8-track
Yeah,
player.
8-track. Yeah, right. Yep.
Like, don't bounce your head off of that because otherwise we're going to, somebody's going to get in trouble.
Yep.
And then right into the pile of pillows.
Awesome. Shag carpet.
Yep.
And the wall. I remember the wall.
Yep.
It was like wallpaper.
It was
like
the walking through the forest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
We had to have them come down and watch us.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
They'd stand in the little window in the bar
Yep.
there.
We were so hyped. Oh man. It was probably like, oh man.
I think
Not very big in there.
Brant, do you think that we were probably part of the reason Garrett made it to the Olympics?
Oh,
I mean, I feel like
100%.
I feel like that trampoline.
100%.
Actually, I think that trampoline had more of a part than he did, but either way, no.
Yeah, I definitely grew up
0%.
with a chip on my shoulder. Being the smallest. A lot of the time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Forever.
I definitely was compensating maybe as I got older or something like that. I needed to prove myself to. Yeah, no, I do believe that though. Very truly.
For
Yeah.
many years after you were in the Olympics, I said that I could beat up an Olympian at one point in my life.
Yeah,
They didn't
dude.
need to know how old you were.
Yeah, man. Definitely, and definitely this. Yeah, a lot of quitting. I quit a lot when I was a kid.
I don't blame you.
Started crying.
We're like
Started crying.
5 years older than
They were huge.
It's like those videos, they are like Instagram and stuff, where it's like the little playing with your little brother.
Spot on.
Just like whack. It's like, oh shit, you're okay.
You're okay. You're okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. I was that guy a lot. And that's okay, because it paid off in some ways.
The other sport that we have to talk about that was probably one of Grandpa's favorite sports to play with us as kids was the infamous pig.
Yeah.
How many games did you play of pig with Grandpa? And then I don't know if you guys know how to spell pig.
Yep.
But there was times where Grandpa would spell pig some other way
GG.
just so the game would prolong just a little bit longer.
Give us a chance.
Do you remember when he used to park his car in the driveway and you'd do the trick shot over the top of the car, the old station wagon? Yeah.
That
was
basketball hoop,
Yeah.
that thing felt like it
That was
was
special.
20 feet tall.
It had to be. I think it was.
Did feel tall.
But I think I could dunk on it at some points in my life.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Tried.
not.
Yeah, close.
That and probably the second most important game at Grandma and Grandpa's house. I don't know that Grandpa played it with us a lot, but
Any over?
Any over.
Oh,
Any over.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Wow.
On that garage,
yep.
throwing that
Golly.
ball over the top of that garage was, I mean,
That was
forgot
fun.
about that.
We spent
Yeah.
hours playing that game.
yep.
Dude, I forgot about that.
That when the old remember the old crochet set?
Yeah,
they had?
Yeah, the croquet.
Yep.
Croquet.
Yep.
Croquet, oh, yeah.
Crochet.
Grandma just taught us how to do it.
That's what we did.
Yeah, dude. That was epic. Down the hill
Oh,
to the garage or whatever.
yeah, and we'd make the drain at the bottom, the hole. Oh, I forgot about that. One time I got stuck down there.
In the garage.
Yeah, it was in the wintertime. It iced over, and I couldn't climb out of it. I had to scale the wall to climb out of that thing. And also one time I broke a window. Don't tell Grandpa I did that. With
Don't say anything.
a hockey stick and a tennis ball. A teness ball is
That's
not
right.
supposed to
You're
break the
you're
window.
a hockey player.
Yeah, that was the hockey
Joel
player.
Gretzky.
Yeah, dude. I remember that. Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. All sorts of fun.
Catcher. I remember going to some of your
Yep,
games.
I do too. Yep.
You're a catcher. I remember sitting with Grandpa actually watching you.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, Joe talks a lot, but that's good. That's a good thing, though. Just get in their head."
I talked to the outfielders a lot when I was playing catcher, just to make sure they were ready. I don't think this guy's gonna hit there, but just be ready in case he does.
That's awesome.
Grandpa, also, so in summer one time I had hockey camp, and Grandpa drove me to hockey camp for like 3 weeks straight in Appleton, because he wanted to make it make sense for me. So my parents were working, and he would just drive me to hockey camp every day. It's like, yep, if you want to do it, let's do it, make it happen. So
Very supportive.
absolutely. And so the other thing is, Grandpa was supportive of all like sports in New London.
Yeah.
He got the Booster Club. One of my good friends, Dean Peterson, was talking about when they started the Booster Club, and they had meetings and stuff, and Grandpa had this idea of like what it was to be, what the Booster Club was going to be, and how it was going to work out. So they created a group that would go out and fundraise, and it was mostly parents of athletes. Which, I mean, my mom wasn't a great athlete. Your mom wasn't a great athlete. Like, how was he tied in with the parents of that? He wanted to do that. My principal actually texted me this week when he heard that Grandpa passed it. He's like, that man is one of the biggest supporters of New London athletics ever. And the things that he did, the things that he made happen, the programs that he put together for it was pretty cool. And then obviously the Clippers baseball and the Legion ball was a big part of his life, and he did a ton there and helped out. And I would always go help him stock coolers and carry beer up. And when you guys came back, you get to come check it out and do it. And it was
special.
It was always a blast to do that.
Yeah. That's why I had to drive by the field today.
And Jim Crane, one of the coaches that used to be the head coach there way back when, he would take Grandpa to a lot of the Clippers games. And just last week, Grandpa went to the Clippers game.
Oh yeah,
he
awesome.
got to his last one, and he got to high five all the players, and probably fist bump the players. But they made like this special spot, so he didn't have to go up into the stadium.
Cool.
They had like a fenced in area that he could watch it right down there. They named the steak fry after him. You got to throw the first pitch.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Was that post Olympics or?
It was post. Yeah,
Nice.
it was post. That's
pretty cool, though, actually.
It was cool. It was cool.
Did you make it? You make a good pitch?
I did.
3-finger or 2-finger fastball? What did you do?
I threw it a lot faster than the dude was expecting.
Nice.
Yeah, but I was overshadowed though. I did it with a little kid. And in hindsight, I think we should have thrown it at the same time.
Sure.
Because the kid threw and everyone was like excited, and then I threw and no one cared.
Sure.
So, but it was special, man. Yeah, that was really cool. It was cool going to those games. I remember just visiting, as when we were kids, and yeah, man, just like seeing how he interacted with people was special.
And he knew everybody.
Yeah, knew everyone, knew their name, knew things about them. Like, wasn't ever just like a hi-bye conversation. It was just like everyone. Yeah, like it was never any bad blood. There was never anyone that like any type of like negative feeling or anything towards him. It was always love, man.
Yeah.
Like anytime he was around anyone, like especially at those games, like everyone respected him. Everyone, and he was a humble guy too.
Yeah.
Like he never acted like he ran it, but he ran it. You know, like he was. Yeah, I remember vividly, man. Like getting to go under and like fill up the ice and like chasing, going to get the balls, and you get a quarter if you brought it back. That was special. And yeah, man, that was.
And he would
cool.
never park his car, so there was always the handicap parking right there.
Yep.
He'd never park his car there, which he could have, but he didn't want his windows to get smashed because of the foul.
Wise, also smart. Yeah.
So that was speaking on that topic. Dean was telling me about the Booster Club one at the beginning parts of it. They used to do a banquet every year, and they would get guest speakers in, and they had some pretty good guest speakers, and this whole night of like camaraderie and fundraising basically that they would do for it. And Dean's like, it would just always happen. He never really knew how it happened. He never really knew what went into it, but it was a lot of grandma and grandpa that both went into doing all of that and putting all that together and, making that what it was and what it is. So the athletics in New London definitely are what they are because of what grandpa put forth in it. So,
yeah, 100%. Even like basketball,
Yep.
like he's
the
big.
girls basketball.
Yeah, the girls
they were
basketball.
good for a while here, weren't they?
Like everything.
One state. I didn't they win state even? Who won state here?
So in '99, the boys basketball team won state, and that was Roy Hintz was the coach. And actually, when Roy found out about grandpa passing, he contacted my mom and got him or got one of the shirts, and it says like Bob Mark or to Bob, our number one fan, because because he was there. He was at every game, and he took us down there. Me and my sister down there. My sister would have been a junior, I think, or junior or senior during that time, and I got to go see the game because Grandma and Grandpa took us down there and made us part of it. So,
would you say basketball is probably number 2 sports, or was it football? Probably pretty close.
I think it's probably pretty close for him on either one of those two. Although, and that was a weird thing too, is like he knew people in the wrestling community in New London, and he would oftentimes go to wrestling matches, and it was like, how do you know anything about this? Oh yeah, he did this and he did this, and like it was he just knew so much about sports and I think really truly enjoyed watching him. But basketball, high school wise, I think basketball, he loved going and watching the Bulldogs play. Your mom was telling us a story about how he'd get out on the dance floor and he'd really just be feeling the jam and he'd be like, "It's Bulldog country, Bulldog country here."
Yeah, man. That was some of the conversations I had with him. He'd be spouting off about the New London basketball score, and I was just like, all right. I was like, that's awesome.
He's proud of his proud of this town here.
The hardest part about it is so I teach there now, right? So the last 5 years I taught at New London, and he'd be like, "Oh, what's the score or what was the score of the basketball game last night?" And I mean, sometimes I have some students in my classes that are basketball players, and then we would talk about it. But I didn't really. I sometimes knew if they won or lost, but I didn't know the score or the detail behind it. And he'd be like, "How do you not know that? Aren't you a teacher there? Like, you should know these scores. You should know everything about it. You should know how many rebounds this kid had in this game." Because that's what he needed to know. That's what he wanted to know.
Well, I was going to transition after this, but
go for it.
I was going to say another with Grandpa golfing.
Yeah,
golfing.
Yeah, dude.
I've golfed with Grandpa. We all
go.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
That has a lot of great memories with that.
Dude,
I remember one time I was teeing off, and he drove the cart down. The cart was in front of us a little bit. Of course, speaking of Grandpa not getting angry ever or anything, and I totally shanked the draft, and I drilled him right in the calf. And he goes, "Oh, fuck." And then he's like, I was like, "I'm sorry, Grandpa. I'm sorry." He's like, "It's okay. I've done worse." That was one of his favorite sports too, especially when he got older too. Like that, I remember a lot of golf trips with him. Did we all go to? Remember that fancy golf course he took in Michigan or something?
Yeah,
that was a fun time too.
I remember that he would let us drive the golf cart.
Yeah.
Way before we were probably supposed to drive the golf cart, but he would be like, I got to go hit my shot over there. And then you just bring the cart over there and you'd be like, oh!
Yeah, dude, I definitely was reckless a couple times. Yeah. Dude,
you guys remember that free course we went to? And like, I think it was in Duluth. It was like part of our resort, and it was just terrible. Like, it was just dirt. It was mostly dirt. The greens were just sand. Like, it was
Nice.
But it was all part of the whole. That was one of our
the whole
family
package.
trips or whatever.
Do you remember the par 3 course in Oshkosh? Grandma loved that one, I think, more than Grandpa did. But
that's right. Grandma was big golf.
They would take us there all the time.
Dude, just like the patience.
Yeah.
Just looking back, because none of us, no way we were good. I remember,
I think I was pretty good.
Joel was on the golf.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. But same thing, man. Of just like never getting frustrated. Never like, I don't remember any time. Just like, hurry up. Let's get this done. It's just, they both were really good at like living in the moment.
Yeah.
Just
for sure.
Being present with us. And I think they just loved that time too, like with us. Just when we were on our own with Grandma and Grandpa. Like, it was,
for sure.
That was special.
Well, and I think too, like you guys always used to come home for that week.
Yep.
In the summer, and you would just stay here and like just all the stuff they would pack into that week. And me and Trisha always get included in we'd spend the night at Grandma and Grandpa's a couple nights and get to watch Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. And we would just all sorts of fun stuff and just a blast hanging out and doing stuff. And I think that week kind of morphed in as we got older into our family vacations and what we did. And we would go off and all sorts of weird, wild adventures that were so much fun.
Yeah. House on the Rock.
Making memories. Yeah. House on the Rock. Yeah.
Duluth, the trips.
Yep.
Superior.
So, all right. All right. Test your facts. Where was Grandpa born?
Oh, dude.
What we got?
Yeah, dude. I'm just going to throw out Wisconsin.
Sturgeon Bay.
Sturgeon
Bay. So, when Grandma and Grandpa Gordy, great Grandma and Grandpa Gordy, so that Grandpa was their first kid, and he was born in January, right? And Grandpa always called it a tar paper shack in Sturgeon Bay that they lived in. And Grandpa went out to the store in a snowstorm, and Grandma was ready to have Grandpa, and Grandpa Gordy almost didn't make it back, because he got stuck in the snowstorm. There's all this whole elaborate story that I'm sure got morphed and changed and all this stuff. But yeah, Sturgeon Bay is where he was born. And and then I was telling Brant earlier about they moved to New London and they worked at the quarry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So Murphy's Pit. They worked there for so many years, and now you look at it, probably when they were doing it, it was like a little thing, and now it's just expanded into this giant pit that they have concrete and all this stuff there. But they lived at the scale house, right? So they lived in this small, tiny house, and they had 5 kids. And Grandpa did maintenance on all the trucks, and Grandma ran the scale house. So, trucks would come through, and she'd scale them out and charge them to their accounts and stuff like that. And that's where they grew up. That's what they did.
That's crazy.
And the other thing is, I would ask Grandpa, well, what was Christmas? What was your best gift? And what did you get? He's like, we got socks. I was excited about a pair of socks. Or we got a new pair of jeans. And then you get to the next year and you'd have your jeans and they'd be full of patches and holes and stuff like that. But he's like, we didn't care. away we went. So,
Special.
yeah, he's a great guy.
Great guy.
Yeah. I feel like maybe we should end with like, what's your good story? What's your go-to story of Grandpa?
Grandpa? I mean, there's a lot, but I remember. I was gonna say one of my favorite times with Grandpa was when we went and watched the sevens with rugby, and that was one time I was old enough to really appreciate like how he like watched sports, and then how he took in that moment. Like that was crazy too. Like it was. He was emotional guy for sure.
Oh yeah, he was a crier
And
for sure.
yeah, and he like that whole trip, the whole like staying in the hotel there, and then going to the games and watching them there. I caught him crying a couple times, and it was like, especially like, and you guys had a good tournament too. It was pretty good, and it was just that was a time I'll never forget of him for that either. But there's a million moments with that guy. Just his sense of humor, the stupid movies we'd watch over and over again.
That was my story. Was gonna be Naked Gun.
Yeah, Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. And he would laugh. Like every time we come over and visit you guys, we'd stay in the hotel, and he would sit down on the bed and he'd turn on the TV and it would be playing.
Yeah, somehow.
And we came over and visit you guys a lot, and it would always be playing. Like, how did he make this happen? How did he materialize this? And he would laugh before the punchline so hard. After the punchline, not laughing as hard. Before the punchline, he was hammering the Whalers on the laughing. So I think I think he cried good, but he also laughed good. Like you can hear that laugh, Grandpa's laughing in your head right now.
100%. Every time you bring up something funny. I like today looking at Reed. Oh my god, that was half the reason I was dying. It was so funny. I was like, Grandpa would be shitting himself. Yeah, dude. It was so funny.
Yeah,
it was because then you got him with Elvis.
Yeah, for sure.
Only in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
small town Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I also, man, I was hoping to do when I came back for Christmas here. I had a bunch of stuff written down. I was going to do an episode with Grandpa, but one of my biggest things that I want to hear the full story of the hockey fight. Like I desperately want to find out about that, like his side of the whole thing. I think I could have got it out of him. Maybe.
I think you could have.
Then
what is the hockey fight?
He was in North Stars Blackhawks game. I think he went with our dad.
Oh, and my dad,
Uncle Steve.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think Vern was there even too.
Were we there?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Hopefully not.
They got into a fight apparently.
That was where Grandpa got like cut above his eye because somebody had a hockey puck in their hand and they hit him.
I thought Grandpa hit somebody with the hockey puck.
I think Grandpa might have got hit above the eye.
Oh, dude. I really want to hear that one.
Yeah. All right. You got your story. I got one more that I'm hold on.
Man. Same thing, yeah. There's like a lot that come to mind. I would like, I don't know if it's a story that's, whatever, dude. It's not that bad. It's a sign of love. There was a time when I was getting older. You guys had kind of aged out of like the week at home or the week visiting grandparents, and so I was sleeping in the living room in the upstairs bedroom, and like Grandma was just cleaning or something, and it was like morning. It was like 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. or whatever. I was just hanging out, like watching TV, and I remember Grandma like yelled like, "Hey, can you come help me with this?" And I thought she was talking to me. And so I was like laying on the ground like in a blanket or something. So it took me a little bit to get up, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I walked in there, and I walked in there, dude. And Grandma was just like holding a sheet, and Grandpa was behind her, just fucking grinding on her, bro. Like, and I was like, and they were facing away, so I like came in, and I was like, whoa. Like, laughed. But dude, this was it. They were both, like pushing 70, like, so it was like a really. At the time, I was like probably 13 or 12 or something, so I was like, whoa. But in hindsight, man, like pretty special moment to like witness people that much in love, like it was, but it was pretty funny.
I think watching them two on the dance floor it was just magical.
Yeah.
Like I always think about the jitterbug, and Grandpa would just put his hand back, and that was where Grandma needed to be and grab a hold of, and it was just so perfect, like how they did that. At my sister's wedding, they had the band. Hershey and the Squirts was the band. They learned the jitterbug, so Grandma and Grandpa could get out there and dance on the dance floor. And it was cool to watch, and they just Grandpa would always just tap his knee and tap the beat to find it, and then be right there and where he needed to be. It was a cool experience to see. So
that's one person where Trisha probably has a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I would say we should call Trisha, but it's probably 12:30. Sorry, Trisha. She'd probably freak out.
Speaking of Trisha's wedding, we had this kind of magical moment at the night of my sister's wedding where we were all just kind of the wedding got done. We were cleaning up. We went back to my parents' room, and they had a couple beers because they had beers there. Because why wouldn't you bring a whole cooler of beer to the wedding that served free beer? But we were sitting there hanging out and talking, and I don't know if I asked the question. I think I did. I asked Grandma, like, how did you guys meet? Like, where did this? Because ultimately, this all started from them meeting somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good story.
And Grandma went through this whole big elaborate story about how, this is how it went. This is how it went. This is how it went. And Grandpa just sat quietly, listened to the story, probably drinking his beer in a red cup. And Grandma got all done with that, and he goes, well, that's not how I remembered it. I was just looking to get into a fight. And that guy, looked at me the wrong way. So he was talking to you. So I went up to him and I said something to you. But your mom was talking about it, the second date. So they met, it was in Clintonville or at Club 22, I think it was. And then they met and they kind of hung out and talked a little bit, but Grandma wasn't really sure about him, and she said, "I'm going to this wedding this next week or 2 weeks from now. Meet me there." And so Grandpa met her there, but Grandpa didn't remember Grandpa's name.
Oh yeah, dude.
So he sat by the jukebox and waited for somebody to come up, and he was like, "Hey, what's that gal's name over there?" And then somebody came up, and they were like, "Joyce?" And he's like, "Joyce, that's what it was."
That's great.
So that's where we all
smooth
all started.
That's why
from.
we're here right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Without that, we wouldn't be here. So.
Dang, that's crazy.
I think with that, we probably need to.
Is that your story?
I think that's my story.
That's your story?
And it was elegantly done, and he just waited for his time to say it, and it was good. He was always a comical guy, waiting for the right moment to throw out the punchline. So
yeah, lover, feeler, very emotional.
Yep,
wore his heart on his sleeve.
Yep, good crier, but a great laugher too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, good man. Good
Even
man.
though it was before the punchline.
Yeah, one of the greatest ever for sure.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
We all need to be. We need to be like Bob Marks more.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Every day.
He deserves a longer podcast. We probably could keep going on, but it is late and we gotta wake up.
Yep.
We gotta go honor him tomorrow. So
yes.
Here's the Grandpa Bob.
Grandpa Bob.
Cheers.
Grandpa.
Grandpa, love you.
Woo! Love you, buddy. We'll sees you when we sees you. That was by Yogi Bear.
Thank you for listening to another brilliant and captivating episode of the Northern Border Banter Podcast, a Trent and Brant production. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Northern Border Banter Podcast. Watch and listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate every one of you.
That's really cool.
Definitely. I want to get this up tonight, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.